You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a first half grading of Season 5 of The Walking Dead. It's been a little bit since I did a video since the mid-season finale, and, you know, a lot of you guys that have been watching, you more or less know how I feel about this first half. And, you know, while the opening of this show was fantastic, and the first 3 episodes were really good, it just really started to dive down. Now, I can go into the details, but I've done it so many times. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Beth. You know how I feel about them surrounding a lot of the story with her. But there were some other things that bothered me as well. In more detail, the episode that involved Abraham, Eugene, and Maggie, and Glenn, I thought was a missed opportunity for them to really make an impact in the first half. If they were going to have Eugene confess that he wasn't a scientist and that there's no cure, I really think they chose a bad time to do it. Number one, we had gotten that episode right after the whole Beth story was still not finished. And on top of that, they weren't with the rest of the group. And I just thought that something like that would have such a huge impact. Let's say, for example, if they ended up, the whole Beth thing turned out before, you know, the events that took place with Eugene. And let's say Beth passes on, the group is finally together, and they catch up with Abraham and Eugene and those guys back at the church. You know, they come back, but for different reasons. You know, like maybe the same thing happens, but Eugene doesn't make the confession. And then they all get together, they finally have some rides, and they head to D.C. And let's say in the mid-season finale, they're halfway to D.C., or a little bit more than halfway, when the event happens where Eugene finally makes a confession. Could you imagine Rick's reaction? Could you imagine the look on the faces of the people who were not there when it actually happened? I just think that would have been a great mid-season finale. A great shocker, not only for the characters, but for the people watching, especially those that don't read the comics. But that's just me. Now, outside of that, there's this whole thing about Maggie, and I even mentioned it, how she didn't really acknowledge Beth. And I was reading an article last night, interview with Steven Yeun, who plays Glenn, and he expressed that because of their situation and because of the things they face, they don't really have time to kind of linger or think about those kinds of things. And I gotta say, I don't necessarily agree. I can understand if the whole time they're there, like this whole first half, if Maggie was always under distress, always under pressure from walkers or other people. But there was a lot of downtime with Maggie, especially in that episode where Eugene makes the confession. I mean, she was basically trying to tend to Abraham. Abraham was in a catatonic state. Tara, Rosita, and Glenn were all fishing. Maggie was by herself. That would have been a perfect time to maybe have her, you know, I don't know, have a flashback or something, or a thought, or maybe use the fact that she lost, or where she thinks she lost Beth, or she wonders about Beth, to maybe get through to Abraham. You know what I mean? So, another missed opportunity, in my opinion. So, you know, and overall, the first half of the season was really, out of all the seasons so far, was a real roller coaster of anger for me, because on one hand, it had the best opening in all the 5 seasons so far, in my opinion. That opening with Terminus was fantastic. And then the following 2 episodes were really dark. They were really, you know, like the hunters are there, and I thought Gareth, the character Gareth, was great. And it was such brutality when they finally caught him at the church and they beat the hell out of him. And I love that because it gives you an idea of where Rick is and where some of the other group members are. So then to go from there, and then you go to episode 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then to make matters worse, you take some of your best characters like Daryl and Carol, and you just kind of give them this episode where it's like blah. And I don't know, it just was really disappointing. And you know, it does upset me because I have liked the show a lot, and I've been following it, and I've read the comics, and to go from where they started in the first 3 episodes and how it ended, you know, I thought it could have been handled better, is what I'm saying. Now, in terms of Beth's death, a lot of people seem to be very upset about this. There's even a petition out there for Beth to be brought back onto the show, which I think is absolutely absurd. Number one, she is not the strongest female. She is not a strong female character, period. I don't care what anyone says. All you got to do is go back and look at all the seasons and watch how Carol developed into what she is now and watch where Beth developed. Beth has never been on her own. Beth has never been without somebody that could protect her. So this idea that suddenly Beth is a strong character, I think it's ridiculous. I gotta be honest, I think it's ridiculous. And it doesn't mean I don't like the character. It doesn't mean that I don't like the actress. I just think she's better suited being a caretaker. She's a caretaker. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every group needs a caretaker, and that's what she fit. She was the mascot. She sang songs. She held the baby. She wiped the baby's ass. That needs to be done. So, you know, now you have this petition out there that wants to bring Beth back from the dead. And I can think of many other characters that I could bring back from the dead much better than Beth. Hershel, Dale, Shane. So you're going to tell me that these people want to bring back Beth, but there's never been a petition for those characters, which to me are much more stronger characters, have more screen presence, and impacted the group a lot more than Beth ever could. So, you know, I'm just glad this whole Beth thing is over. And I will say I thought her death was very abrupt. The reason it was very abrupt, and the reason a lot of people are wondering why it happened that way, is because I can tell you right now, in my opinion, I think they knew they made a mistake focusing the show around her. They already filmed it. They already went that direction. And they wanted to end it swiftly. Because, right, the death did not make a whole lot of sense. But it needed to happen. So, overall, the first half of The Walking Dead Season 5, I'm going to give it a D+. The first 3 episodes were great. And then everything after that, to me, was just a slow roll downhill. Missed opportunities. Focusing on a character that doesn't have strong presence. And then leaking, or rather I should say, for a better word, you know, revealing one of the biggest reveals in the storyline from the comic and not utilizing it better and not putting it in a better spot where it could really impact not only the viewers but the characters. So D+ for the first half of The Walking Dead, but I am very optimistic about the second half and I'm expecting better things. So that's it, you know. And I know there's a lot of you viewers, you're so used to me giving positive reviews for The Walking Dead, but I have to be fair in what I see. If I'm not liking what I see, I'm gonna say it how it is. I don't want to be, and this is just truth. Nobody can deny this. A lot of Walking Dead fans love this show to a fault and do not see anything wrong with it at all. But I can't view a show like that. And while it's been a great show and it's one of my top shows, it has its flaws, and it really showed a lot of flaws this first half. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.